Hello again. Well, let's see now the answer for question 6 from our first assessment uh, last week. Okay, this is our first assessment, and here is the question number 6. Again, as always, the first thing is about, read the question carefully. And what you can see here is that I asked for CUDA program, okay, where we have an integer variable with a value of 233, and it is a hard code. I even say the name for this variable, okay. Then the user had to introduce a number between 0 and 999, okay. And the goal for the user is that the number that he introduced, that is a kind of password, is equal to the key. Then in that case, the user would be allowed to enter in the system, so to say. But the topic here is that the issue here is that the user have only three tries. Okay, then I just indicate all the things, like for example that the maximum number of attempts should be a constant and hard-coded, so 3 here, yeah. And then, you can use other variables, and I make a recommendation of using a do-while loop. Remember that there are always different ways of solving the problems. So this recommendation is just a recommendation, so it's not mandatory. Okay, let's see then how to do this in Java. I have here opened then my Java Online compiler. Then I start cleaning up the body of the main method. And okay, first of all, we were said that we have to define a variable with a name key that have value, hard-coded value of 233. So nothing complicated here. We also said that the user will have a maximum number of attempts. Then I will call the variable max number attempts equal to 3. But recall that I said, here I have it, recall that I said that it had to be a constant, okay? It basically means, okay, let me see, that it had to be final int. Remember, this keyword final was just to indicate that this variable was a constant, okay? So far, let's say very simple. Then, the other thing that I need is, of course, a scanner object, because I am going to ask the user for introducing an integer, a password. That password, so the value that the user will introduce is what I am going to compare with this key. Okay, then we just create the scanner. Let's call num. Okay, new scanner, and I will say the system in, because this is the standard input. We also know that for using a scanner, we have to import the library. Oh, sorry. So we have to import the library. Okay. Then so far so good, but now I make a recommendation that you use a loop. We will have to use a loop, that's sure, because what we are going to do is just ask the user for a password, okay, but with a maximum of 3 tries. Then if we use the loop that I recommend, it will be a do while, okay, do while loop. Okay, remember that what I recommend, so I just giving you a clue. Let's say here, do while loop, this is just a recommendation, okay? But anyhow, yeah. Then, when we will have to leave that, that loop, first of all, we will not ask again the user to introduce the password if he has introduced the right value, okay? I will use, for example, right introduction as a variable, but it should be right. Let's type correctly, okay? That will be one variable, boolean one, that just indicate that the user have introduced the right password or not, okay? And then the other thing that I have to take in consideration is the number of attempts, okay? And the other variable to use will be number attempts. Let's call it that way. I have to define that variable, but just to explain before the logic of the loop, then the logic of the loop will be that we will be doing what appear here between the bracket, always that the user have not made a right introduction. This is what I put not here, this admiral's sign before the variable, okay? Then the user had not made a right introduction, and also always that the number of attempts is minor than the maximum number attempts that we have defined here, equal to 3. Okay, then what happened here? We will be executing what we put here once again until this, or let's say while this condition here is true. And then for being true, as we have here the AND logic operator, both have to be true. So it means that, first of all, the user has not introduced the password, the right one, let's say, and the number of attempts is minor than the maximum number of attempts. So always that these two things are true, we will continue executing the loop. But once that the user introduces the right password, then right introduction will be true, and we will stop executing, asking the user for introducing data because they have introduced the right password. Or once that this number of attempts maximum is minor than the maximum, we will execute in the loop. But if we just introduce or make it, let's say 3 tries, then it will not be minor than the maximum number of attempts, and we will leave the loop. Okay, those are the two conditions that have to be true in order that we continue executing the loop. Then what we will do within that loop? Well, first of all, ask the user to introduce the password, but I have to use another variable. Let's call password. Okay. And we know how to use the scan function here, as it is an integer, it will be next int. Okay, then we have an issue here. Is we have declare and define this variable password, but being within a loop, we cannot declare many times the same variable password. So how to solve that? Very easy. We just declare the variable here, and here, as the variable has been declared above, I just remove the type. That will be enough. Okay. But I will put also here a message for the user to understand again what the information we are asking for. Let's say, please introduce your password, and I will also indicate that the number has to be in that range. Okay. Okay, then first of all, well, before executing this and see what happened, I have to define these two variables. Okay, let's define so I can use it. I will say that right introduction is Boolean, and I will initialize it as a 0. Okay, because false. Okay, it's a Boolean, so I will say that well, the user had not introduced at the beginning. The user had not introduced the right password, and then the number of attempts could be in type and attempts, and also the number of attempts is 0. Okay, if we execute this, we will have a problem, because you can see that as we do not modify this variable, we will continue executing this loop one and again and again and again. We will never leave that loop, okay, because we are not changing this variable within the loop. But let's execute and let's see what happened. And then we check if we have make any mistake also. Typing, okay, first of all, interactive. I always forget, always that we use the scanner object. Well, we have to check this in order that can be, the user can introduce that. Okay, then if I put 5, 6, you see that it continue asking without any. Okay, we have just create a loop that is an infinite loop. This is a big mistake in programming. It's a big issue. Okay, so I will stop this and see how to solve it. Well, first of all, once that we have just asked the user to introduce the password, what we should do is just check if the user have introduced the right password. And this is as simple as say that if password is equal to key that we have defined at the beginning, hard coded, okay, then okay, write introduction equal through. Oops, sorry. Okay, very simple. In that case, we are modifying a variable that is controlling the loop. Then we will just leave that loop always that we make a right introduction. let's try. Then if I say 5 first, okay, this is not right, so the program asks me again for introducing the password, 230, and now it's okay. And the program have leave the loop. You can see, because we have not, but let's put here, for example, a message, system out out of the loop. Okay, so now you can see that, let's say first time that we try, it's a wrong password, and second one is right, and we then leave the loop. Okay, you can see here. Okay, but then what happened with the other variable that controlled the loop? Okay, of course, if it not if the password is not right, then what we have to do is just increase the number of attempts. Okay, so simple. Well, and that will be all. We can put now some message. Let's say, for example, 5, 6. Okay, now we'll leave the loop also, because we have made 3 failures. But then we can also put some additional information to make it easier to understand. Let's say that here I put a message. Let's say you are allowed to enter. Okay, because here the user have introduced the right password, and here I can put another message, like for example, here would be more wrong password. Okay, and I'm just providing some information. Maybe the only message that yeah, and I can change also this message and say, in case that the number of attempts is greater or equal to maximum number of attempts, then I just want to put in a different message. Okay, I will change then this message, and I will be this will be you exit it the maximum number of attempts. Okay, let's say we have done properly. Okay, then I introduce, I can say, well, we can see here wrong password, and then ask me again to introduce again wrong password. I will introduce another wrong one and say, okay, you exceed the maximum number of attempts. Now I will introduce the right one, and you are allowed to enter. And finalize also this the loop. So that was a solution for the problem for question 6. Well, I hope that you you understand all the topic, all the thing, all the issues that I have explained in that video. In case that you have some doubt or some problem with any of the steps that I have made, just let me know, send me an email, and we will see how to move forward. Okay. Thank you and have a good day. Bye.